Welcome. You have entered the realm of 1111 Talk Radio. Your host is Simran. It's time to discover your own language with the universe. Empower yourself, broaden your mind, open your heart, and discover who you are. Now, here's your host, Simran.
It is so good to be with you today, and it is especially exciting for me to be with you today because I have done hundreds upon hundreds of shows on 1111 Talk Radio where I have interviewed so many amazing people, spiritual leaders, teachers, healers, shamans, quantum scientists, people in the self-help and personal growth fields in spiritual work. And today is a day that I have decided to celebrate a new book that I have coming out. I'm coming off of a week of its launch on 2/22/22 and celebrating. And I think that it's important to model that we must celebrate ourselves and the things that we create, in addition to understanding that we all want to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, and that when we really allow ourselves to dive into the life that we have, the life that we've been given, then our Dharma happens to unfold. Today I want to talk about the first of a series of 3 self-realization books that truly feel like my life's work. And I'm excited to share the depth and breadth of what is written in these because they brought me to profound awareness. And I'm going to share with you how I got to this point of writing 3 books at one time, why they're so important in today's world, and take you through a multidimensional experience that you may never have known you have. So sit back, relax, light your candle, get your cup of tea, lay back on your bed, and just listen and take it all in. Whatever resonates, let that come in, and whatever doesn't, let it flow in one ear and out the other. And I'll start off by saying, what each truly longs for is home. To be seen, heard, and known, to know where one belongs, to sing the soul's song, to feel full, to live by divine will, to be whole, and live the purpose of the soul. Let life's happenings move you into the truth of your soul's creation. Be not of mind, but instead of heart's celebration. Deepen into the womb, know your wound, emulsify, and you will fly. Come now, caterpillar, into long. You will spread your wings to sing your soul song. What do we do with the things that happen in our lives, in the world, all around us? How do we move through the challenging moments, the hard things? How do we approach loss and chaos, the traumatic, the heartbreaking, and the painful? How do we do that? And why do we have to keep doing that? Another set of questions has to do around purpose. How do we find our life purpose? How do we know what our soul wants us to fulfill in this lifetime? How do we make sure that we've reached our full potential? And how do we not get caught up in the mind and the ego's belief of what that is and truly live our soul's dharma? Is it possible that each experience, especially those that bring intense feeling, trigger, or shock, is a doorway to the infinite? Is it possible that walking through those doorways has immense power to serve the whole and all of the world? By facing what pierces us, can each individual actually be the change? These are some of the profound questions that I had many years ago. They stirred within me and cycled through me in such a way that I knew the wonderment of these questions would eventually bring the answer, and it brought many of these answers in a way that I would never have imagined, in a way that I think that my mind and my ego probably would never have asked for, and yet in a way that I'm absolutely certain my soul planned out for me. So I want to start off by sharing a writing with you that begins this book, which is titled Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience. That's Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience. And this writing occurred one day when I was in the midst of grief. And it streamed out of me in a way that I was speaking to a higher aspect of myself or perhaps a higher universal consciousness. And with every question that I asked, I received an answer. What do you really want? I want to remember. What? Something I know that I know, but I've forgotten. How long will that take? As long as it takes. And if it takes a lifetime? It might, but it will be worth it, because my presence is enough. And when you remember, what will you do with that? I'll write it down. Is that what this is? Yes, that and more. What is the more? I am. I am. I am. Yes, this is your isness. And I contemplated and reflected on these words for quite a while, not in a place that I really even desired to do anything with it, because I had experienced a severe trauma and intense grief that really left me at a place where I didn't want to inspire anyone. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't care about writing anything. I just wanted to feel. I just wanted to know my own humanity. And these 3 books unfolded. So I'll tell you right at the forefront, if you knew what you were doing, you might not choose any of it. If you understood what was happening, you would dive fully into living, muck, mire, and all, cannonball style. In every moment, you determine what lens you look through and live from. This is really the only free will choice that we have. You have to understand that the life you live has been destined, all of it, and you have to commit fully to living it through that lens of awareness. Life's kaleidoscope of experiences that have been brought on by identity create the veils by which your human eyes, an unconscious I, and a greater I project onto the world. These eyes are actually multidimensional parts of you, and they co-create and exist simultaneously. So when you're fully present, the dimensions and the distinctions actually become quite clear. And that's what I did with these 3 books. Each book is actually a multidimensional aspect of me and of you. The books do not have my story because that really isn't important. I needed to write this in a way that you would apply your story and you would have an understanding of why we create 7 unorthodox blessings throughout our lives. Blessings are generally perceived as the gifted moments that arise as pleasant happenings. You probably label these as good or great or miraculous or beautiful. However, this labeling points to a belief in duality and separation. And it actually eliminates the broad spectrum of blessings that exist beyond this purview and the purpose that they serve. Your uncomfortable experiences are also blessings. However, you've never been taught to look at life in this manner. The 7 blessings of human experience actually consist of the blessing of life, the blessing of challenge, the blessing of conflict, the blessing of chaos, the blessing of obstacles, the blessing of darkness, and the blessing of death. Now, right, you might be saying, oh my goodness, I don't want those blessings. And why would I even look at those blessings? Why would I read a book about those kinds of blessings? Well, I'll tell you why. Because all of us will encounter these types of blessings again and again throughout our lifetime. I came to be aware that they actually follow a cycle. That within the cycle of 7 blessings, there are these ladders, these 7 steps, these ladders of consciousness that you will follow and go through. And the ladder will actually allow you to either fully experience and immerse within that blessing or understand how to rise to a higher octave of experience so that you don't have to go through all of the pain and the turmoil that that particular blessing is destined to bring. And so it became a very powerful walk for me to move through each of these and immerse so deeply to be able to be the explorer that could come back and report not only what happens, but how to rise into a higher octave of experience. You see, life is a series of convergences that weave an intricately beautiful web. Each experience contributes to the balancing of universal forces that have been at play for eons. And your life, my life, every person that you know, their life, is one of many utilized to achieve this greater end. What if every moment, every single one, is a blessing? What if you've been given a life manual that illustrated how to maneuver these blessings of a dense nature? And what if the circumstances of your life deliver a unique spiritual path of awakening? This is what I want you to understand through living the 7 blessings of human experience. They hold experience as an expanse of blessings in a manner that you may not have ever perceived. Enjoy the terrain, partaking of every landscape you find yourself in, because each blessing holds a sweet elixir and a powerful medicine. Each is a doorway, a gateway, a blessed way to something far beyond it. So when you utilize life as your lover, teacher, guru, and guide, regardless of what appears, you are not only eternally well, but you are used well. You are always in the right place, at the appropriate time, to illuminate the perfection of your imperfections. Be aware of the guidelines present as you follow your life's sacred path. The truth is, you can remain with any experience as long as desired, or you can transcend it at any time. Our forms of escape, denial, and avoidance only return you to the same experience in another way. Sometimes this will be with the same individuals, and other times it reincarnates as a different place, time, or faces. There's no geographic cure because you take yourself wherever you go. The soul's choice to be human was your initial foray into the unknown. It's part of the reason these blessings become activated within your experience. Embodiment is an immersive process designed to integrate your highest state of remembrance from within the dense world of form. And this comes through direct experience. Embrace life as it is. Be present to each step that plays out. Until then, you only pretend to remember. And life will always break down what is not working for your greater good. As you become increasingly aware and conscious, your energy actually emits a command. Mastery is a lifelong commitment. You are the conscious and the unconscious. You are the landscape and the traveler. You are the conduit of spirit. Your essence is inhabiting a spacesuit because you came to be the gateway for humanity, your humanity, and that serves the greater humanity. You are the little God. You are God walking. You are the God of your understanding. This powerful set of blessings began in an incredible way for me. I had encountered in 2014 my worst fear. And it was a deeply traumatic moment, followed by 7 years of tremendous challenge, obstacles, chaos, darkness, and death over and over and over again. I had to repeatedly die to each identity, ego, and persona that existed within me. And I began to realize that we're not here to become more of who we are based on our minds and our egos or the conditioning of the world. We're here to dissolve these identities, and that actually creates the expansion into the greater essence that we are. So I committed to the dark. I committed to the things that were in front of me. I told life, the universe, source, and God that I would immerse as deeply into this as I did the light, and to keep me here until I had gained all that I was to know. So I basically consciously went unconscious. Now the truth is, most of us, most of the planet, is unconscious most of the time. But to be conscious about being unconscious carries a very different vibration and a very different awareness. And by doing so, this is how I came to know these 7 blessings intimately. I became the experiencer through each blessing, through each layer within each blessing, and through each step across the multidimensional grid that lifted me into the other places. I was also the witness that was watching every feeling and emotion and experience and trigger. I was the witness that was able to see when I became shadow and animal and monster and demon. And I was the witness that could see the robotic and conditioned self that was trying to get through whatever life was throwing at me. I also witnessed the flowering of humanity, the beautiful softness and vulnerable state as each piece of flavoring and flowering started to unfold within me in the most divine way that opened me to a deeper humanity, a humanity that allowed me to embrace what was divine in me in such a powerful way. What I gained was profound in insight, awareness, and soulful expansion. And these 3 books carry so much of how I came to these awarenesses and the steps that I had to take. The 7 blessings of human experience that contain life, challenge, obstacles, conflict, chaos, darkness, and death have hidden gifts and paths. Each one has its own path that you will follow. Each one will help you tap into innate hidden gifts that you carry. Each one will have you master a different aspect of your consciousness, gain a truth and a wisdom, and unify a certain part of you that is separate. This ladder of consciousness will actually guide you through anything and allow you to master yourself, to master life in the most beautiful way. So how did this happen? Well, as I was taking a walk with my little min pin, Trinity, one day, after months and months and months of grief, I returned to 3 titles and 3 tables of contents that streamed from my pencil. And what I looked at was beautiful. It was incredible. It was deeply clear. And I knew that I was being put on a path to create something that would create itself in its own time. So over the next 7 years, pieces and parts of me would write and come through me, partially from experience and otherwise from knowing, to help me understand what needed to go in each of the 3 books. The book that we're talking about today is Living, The 7 Blessings of Human Experience. You can get that at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or on my website at iamsimran.com. Go to the Books tab, and you'll see them there. The second book is Being, The 7 Illusions That Derail Personal Power, Purpose, and Peace, and that releases May of 2022. You can pre-order that now as well. And the third book is Knowing, The 7 Human Expressions of Grace, which will release November of 2022. I urge you right now to go ahead and order your copy by clicking on the tab at the banner at the top of the show page or going to anywhere that books are sold. Order your copy of Living, The 7 Blessings of Human Experience. Join me in a few minutes, and in the next episode, I'm going to take you through one of the multidimensional grids and let you know how this work is carried out. We'll be right back after these messages.
Have you seen 1111? Do you wonder why certain numbers keep showing up in your life? 11, 111, 22, 33, 444. People all over the world are seeing 1111 and learning the language of universal communication. Subscribe to 1111 Magazine today. www.1111mag.com. 1111 Magazine is a bi-monthly print publication that offers a rich multi-sensory experience. As you engage with experts and topics of consciousness, become enlightened, empowered, and energized, so you live a passionate and authentic life of conscious choices. 1111 Magazine, a daily staple for lifting the mindset, discovering the heart, and stepping into conscious living. 1111 Magazine. Order now at www.1111mag.com. 1111mag.com.
Do you want more? More joy, more abundance, more power and presence? How would it feel to have more loving relationships, more empowered community, greater fulfillment, and life purpose? The 1111 Mastermind community inspires, empowers, guides, and supports transformation. Shift your mind, expand your heart, deepen insights, let go and chart a new course, dream a new dream. The 1111 Mastermind community is an online portal for personal transformation and soulful expansion. Go to courses.1111mag.com. That's courses.1111mag.com. Change begins with you. Let it be simple, convenient, and transformative. The time is now. Step through the 1111 gateway. Courses.1111mag.com.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. Simran is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
You are not your experiences. They are the terrain your soul designed. You are not your wounds. Those battlefields are what shape you. If that is the route you're on, then your power is in your pain. Presence holds the key to your destiny. Living, Being, Knowing, the self-realizations series that I have just written, is for individuals who desire to go beyond current generalities, conditioning, and perceptions, and into the intricacies of consciously participating as an individual and part of the collective in the expansion and alchemy of our world. By the end, you may notice you have been sitting back, sleeping, dreaming, unconscious, or innocently playing within an illusion of your own making. To truly wake up, you must be willing to admit you are inert and asleep, and deeply so. Do not run from the shadows and negativity of the physical world. Instead, embrace them for the richness they offer in personal and planetary healing. Through embodiment, you not only heighten your individual frequency, but also create the rippling impact for generational, ancestral, and collective shifting. In crossing over from human being to divine knowing, be sacred witness of the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. As you knock on death's doorway, you will stumble upon the true light of your eternal countenance, and what you'll discover is actually true aliveness. My first book in the series has released this week, and it is titled Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience. It is a guidebook that allows individuals to not only release anxiety, depression, and the angst about their life experiences so that they can live with greater presence and personal power. It opens a doorway to deepening humanity, compassion, purpose, and peace. For anyone on a personal or spiritual growth path who truly desires to live beyond their human condition and realize their life's purpose, this set of 3 books in the Self-Realization series will teach you about your multidimensionality as a human. You will discover the layers and ladders that exist within you. And as you transcend the ladder of consciousness, you will open up to a grid of multidimensional being that is beyond anything you've ever known. There's a lot happening in the world right now. There's a lot that's difficult to look at, pierces the heart. It can be painful to see. And that doesn't matter whether it is something global that is taking place or whether it is something that is intimately in your house, your backyard, or in your neighborhood. When those moments happen, the first thing that we do is ask why. Why does this happen? Why do these bad things take place? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why is there evil in the world? We must stop asking why this is happening and realizing that what happens is actually happening for a larger purpose that the human mind has not been able to comprehend. Life is in a constant state of balancing energies that have accrued over time. And these imbalances and swings of energy are utilizing us and the present moment to realign the inequities that have been created throughout time, generation, ancestry, through actions and interference. So don't ask why. Instead, immerse within what you feel. Immerse within your heart and deeply immerse within your body. And feel fully. There's a backlog of unfelt emotions that have clogged the drain, keeping you from your true humanity and keeping global humanity from its true service of individual humans. Only our individual humanity can break through these blockages that have built up. So we each serve humanity by serving our own. What I'd love to talk about and share with you is the grids that are within the book. Inside the book, not only do you encounter the 7 blessings, but each one has its own grid that you will move through. There's a ladder of consciousness. And so let me tell you first what these 3 books are, because all of the grids and the ladders of consciousness are connected in a certain way. They can be looked at vertically and they can be looked at horizontally. And so I've written these 3 books that are releasing in 2022, the first of which is Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, that is out now. And I've written them as a manual and a guide of instructions. They're the books that I wish I had had as I was going through my challenging and traumatic experiences. These are books that if the soul had written you a guide and a manual, it would have told you everything that you needed to know to move through these experiences. We are technology. We are human technology. We are composed of energy and essence, and we have expressions. We are in a physical spacesuit. So just like any other type of technology, your computer, your phone, any other gadget, comes with its own set of instructions or a manual, these 3 books would encompass what that is. So book 1, Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, relates to you, capital Y, lowercase o, lowercase u. That is the you that you face life with as an identity, as a persona, as the individual that you know yourself to be. This is the conscious and unconscious you that is available to be used well, but only if you truly face what's put in front of you as life. And what's put in front of you as life has come through a series of echoes that I'll talk about in a few minutes. Book 2, Being, the 7 Illusions that Derail Personal Power, Purpose, and Peace, that is available for pre-order now and will be shipped in May, depicts the shadow, animal, monster, and even demon self that we all are. This is the lowercase u, the lowercase y-o-u. This you contributes to the 7 illusions of the world, illusions such as time, money, hierarchy, and even war. This book shows us how to neutralize these illusory states that keep creating these cycles of pain and separation that exist in our world, and to rise into the essence of key wholeness and the devotional aspects that we can embody so that we lift to a higher octave of experience and expression. And then book 3 is Knowing. It is the 7 human expressions of grace, and that releases in November. And this is the capital Y, capital O, capital U, that depicts the softening, the vulnerability, and the beauty of humanity as it flowers into a higher frequency and vibration that accesses greater creative capacity and co-creation with the universe, with your divinity. And so as you look at these 3 layers and levels of self, each of them have 7 aspects, and then each of those 7 aspects have 7 layers within their ladder. So today I want to talk a little bit about the blessing of conflict, because we've all been there, or perhaps are there in this moment. We certainly see that we are there in the global capacity, particularly with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now. So what do we do with the blessing of conflict? Well, we have to understand that first, that blessing of conflict is asking us to step on the first step, which means engaging the path of the visionary. Each of the 7 blessings have a different path that you will follow that awaken you and open you up to certain energies, mindsets, ways of seeing, ways of being that will help to shift the current experience. So for the blessing of conflict, we move into the path of the visionary. And this path of the visionary is not a visionary that all of a sudden has an idea and goes out and does something. You have to understand these books are not traditional books. They are quite unorthodox, not only in how they've been written, but in how they are to be read. They have to be read very slowly. It took me 7 years to move through these experiences, to dissolve and absorb the dense energies that were in my body, and then to encounter the dense energies that were in the world and in my generations and support the alchemy and transmutation of those energies. I wrote these books so that you don't have to take 7 years to do that. But what these books do require is that you move very slowly. They are like devotionals. They're meant to be kept by your bedside in a way that maybe you only read a few lines a day, or that you read a paragraph or only one page a day, and you let that marinate within you in a way that it lets the medicine of the book do its work within you. So these are not fast reads. They're not meant to be something you blaze through. They're meant to be something that slows you down, that brings you to greater presence, that has you deepen within yourself into places of contemplation to create more balance. It lets you keep living your life, going at the rate you need to go in the rest of your day. But for a moment, every day, it makes you pause and slow down and remember. And so part of that is stepping into a path. And that path of the visionary is not here to rush out and do anything. That path of the visionary is one who's willing to sit and see what is the truth of something rather than what you see outside. It is the one that holds the faith of what can't be seen and will hold that space for what is true to be realized in the world or in the self or in your life or in your family. That then reflects the energy of air. The air is a part of you that is the breath. It is the part of you that helps birth something new into the world, whether that is helping to breathe through the trauma and the pain that is taking place on the other side of the world in the Ukraine and help those people breathe when they've got their guts, their hands on their guts, and their breath is being held and their hearts are thumping and they can't breathe for themselves. We breathe for them. We breathe for ourselves. What I do for my sister, what I do for myself, what I do for myself, I do for my sister. And that's how we have to look at the entire world. This then awakens a path of growth. In this particular case, for the blessing of conflict, it's the growth of mind mastery. And this allows us to dive deeply into the mind and master the mind through true focus, through true alignment, to really delving into discovery of what we hold in mind that would be contributing to creating conflict and also resolving conflict. That then allows us to restore something. And what we restore is something of truth. In this case, we restore the truth of essence. We bring back the quality of essence into our lives. And we bring back the quality of essence into every experience that we are seeing. This then takes us to the step where it reveals something. It reveals the wisdom of something. And that wisdom that is revealed through the blessing of conflict is the wisdom of witnessing. It's the wisdom of being able to sit still and witness the world as it is moving, whether it is chaotic, whether it is still, whether it is frenzied, whether it is rushing, whether it is dominant action of someone charging in, or whether it is the passive action of someone not in their power. We get the wisdom of witnessing. And that takes us to the next step, which is the invitation. And for the blessing of conflict and the path of the visionary, the invitation is for the unification of the creative aspect. That means aligning fully with the creative aspect that is the higher essence, that is the part of you that can manifest new reality. And when you do this, it takes you to the seventh step of the ladder, which is the allowing. And that is the allowing of the innate and inherent gifts that we each carry. And for the blessing of conflict, those innate gifts are the gifts of light, love, and compassion. And these will awaken naturally and organically if we simply follow the steps, the 7 steps. Now, when we talk about this blessing of conflict or any of the blessings, I want to take you to what occurred with me 7 years ago as I moved through my traumatic experience over the 7 years. What I discovered after some very intense grief for a very prolonged period of time, I would say about 15 to 18 months of really intense grief, there was a pause. And in that pause, all of a sudden it was as if a state of grace came over. I was being given a respite. And all of that grief was grief that had been held in my body for a very long time. And I'll talk about it in the third episode, the third section of the episode, about the echoes that took place. But that grief place of respite was necessary. And then all of a sudden the grief started again. And it was equally intense. And there were more tears. And I had no idea that my body could hold that much water. But I was continuously grieving. And I began to realize I was grieving the pain of ancestors because they had gone through many of the same pains and traumas that I was currently experiencing. But they never felt those traumas. And so we are each a conduit, if we choose to be, to relieve the backlog of trauma that's in our ancestry. And so I allowed that to flow through me so that it could be expressed. And that also took about 15 to 18 months for me. And then I had another respite. And that lasted 2 or 3 months, experienced the state of grace. And through these respites, I also experienced an up-leveling of frequency and vibration. And then came a third wave of grief. And this one was equally intense, did not last as long, but I was able to feel and experience the world's pain. I was able to allow some of that grief to be unloaded through me and to allow some of that to ease what was happening in the world. And we each have that capability to help ease the world's pain. And when that completed, I was able to see how individually through our story, we actually are threads of a tapestry that lead to everything else on the planet throughout space and time. So I invite you to consider doing your work in a gentle way that doesn't have to take 7 years, that can not only serve you, your ancestry, and the greater humanity and the greater global issues that are arising, by slowly moving through each of the 7 blessings and every rung that they provide. Again, for the blessing of conflict, it takes you through engaging a path. Reflecting in energy is step 2. Awakening growth is step 3. Restoring a type of truth is step 4. Revealing a type of wisdom, step 5. The invitation for unification of a certain aspect, step 6. And allowing your inherent gifts that are connected to that particular blessing is step 7. And that moves you into the next blessing, which is part of a cycle. As you move through all of these blessings, you open up to parts and pieces of you that you did not even realize existed. And you begin to experience the expansion of your true humanity and deeper essence of your divinity. Again, I invite you to explore the 7 blessings of human experience by getting the book Living. It has been released. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or go to my website under the Books tab at www.iamsimran.com. You can also click the banner at the top of my show page. Once again, that's Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience. We'll be right back after these messages to talk a little bit more about cycles and echoes.
Do you want more? More joy, more abundance, more power and presence? How would it feel to have more loving relationships, more empowered community, greater fulfillment and life purpose? The 1111 Mastermind community inspires, empowers, guides, and supports transformation. Shift your mind, expand your heart, deepen insights, let go and chart a new course, dream a new dream. The 1111 Mastermind Community is an online portal for personal transformation and soulful expansion. Go to courses.1111mag.com. That's courses.1111mag.com. Change begins with you. Let it be simple, convenient, and transformative. The time is now. Step through the 1111 gateway. Courses.1111mag.com.
Have you seen 1111? Do you wonder why certain numbers keep showing up in your life? 11, 111, 22, 33, 444. People all over the world are seeing 1111 and learning the language of universal communication. Subscribe to 1111 Magazine today. www.1111mag.com. 1111 Magazine is a bi-monthly print publication that offers a rich multi-sensory experience. As you engage with experts and topics of consciousness, become enlightened, empowered, and energized, so you live a passionate and authentic life of conscious choices. 1111 Magazine, a daily staple for lifting the mindset, discovering the heart, and stepping into conscious living. 1111 Magazine. Order now at www.1111mag.com. 1111mag.com.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. Simran is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
The beliefs you hold you. What you control controls you. These actions and thoughts create your reality. Your perspective is your version of truth. Be willing to give up what you know for what you don't know. Living, being, knowing will guide your path. Life is a doorway, a gateway, the first of many blessings you are to encounter throughout your life. You will experience an adventure, a thrill ride, an amusement park, and even a haunted house of old ghosts that have traveled through time. You will become too serious and forget you incarnated for experience, expression, and play in this vast wonderland. You will fight, take flight, and keep running. You will also grow, fly, and learn to become present. This is the beauty of living, where you cycle through 7 transformational blessings over and over again, each time releasing who you are not and becoming who you are. Today's show is focused on my new book, Living the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, and I do hope that you'll pick up a copy. It is profound and filled with rich nuggets on every single page. This is a book that's meant to be read as if you were drinking a cup of hot tea, sip by sip, slowly, allowing it to savor in your mouth, allowing it to just course through your body before you take the next sip. You may read a few lines, a short paragraph, or a page a day, but the medicine that will work within you will be an amazing experience of opening, of flowering, and of expansion. The first step of anything is pure presence. To be fully present with an experience you're going through carries the great power and healing that is required. Your presence is enough because it means that you're shifting a cell in the body and heart and mind of the cosmos. What we do for ourselves, we actually do for the whole world. And I found this out because I tapped into a series of echoes that were taking place as I became more and more aware not only of my own story, but of ancestral stories and global stories. As I went through my 7-year experience, I began to realize that everything that was happening within these 7 blessings of experience correlated to a certain age, to a certain and specific moment. And that moment kept repeating in 7-year cycles. And so that grid work is laid out in the book so that you can realize why the things in your life show up, and so that you can recognize the pattern that is playing out there and how you can finally dissolve that pattern to ultimately free yourself from the original wound. There are many parts of us inside. There's the little I that is the scared you. There is the set of eyes that looks at the world that might be nervous and afraid. And then there's the excited I that is the witness, the higher self, the humanity that is here to experience and express. And when you're willing to discover all of these, you'll understand that they make up a beautiful multidimensional experience that is here to support you in being vulnerable, softened, and awakened to a greater dimension of the human experience. But to get there, we have to each begin where we are. And that means that we have to live in the moment with what is being encountered right then, with whoever it is that you have conflict with presently. And that density that is repeatedly denied will only stay in the body and repeat. So definitely you're going to need to pick up your copy of Living, the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, so that you can feel alchemy at work within your mind, body, energy, spirit, and life. The vision that you hold of the world must unfold. And co-creation exists because our thoughts, our feelings, and energy emits vibrations into the cosmic grid. Get still. Quiet yourself. Stop. Don't let fear get the better of you. And don't jump on any bandwagons, interfere, or spread irritants. We each play a role in either creating more fear or engaging greater love. Each person is a divine messenger. They must discern where and what is inside themselves. What is the message that it's taking you to? So many people are afraid of the darkness. They don't want to look at their density. They don't want to look at their shadows. And what I discovered is that our true gold, our true expression, and our true aliveness actually is in that dark womb space. And if we're willing to go in there, if we're willing to love all of the darkness that we see, if we're willing to get into places of neutrality and acceptance, compassion and care for every experience and those within it, then all of a sudden we become the equilibration on the planet. We become a more powerful force that allows light to exude and radiate from us. There's a misconception that if we look at the ego or the darkness or any of the challenging experiences that are taking place, that if we face what's on the news or dive into some of the feelings that we have around the social issues that take place, that all of a sudden we're taking on negative energy. But what we don't realize is that when we are willing to be in that energy and do the work within us from the triggers and the reactions and the emotions that are being experienced, we actually bring ourselves to greater wholeness. We are the yin and the yang, and if you look at the yin and the yang, there is light and darkness on both sides. Either darkness with a little bit of light that shines through, or light with a little bit of darkness that shines through. But when they come together, they create wholeness. And that's what we're here to do. We're to create the wholeness within ourselves by embracing what is within us. There is purpose in your power and power in your pain. There's a destiny that is only yours. This dharma is in your karma. Fully live through all that life gives you and discover greater power than you ever knew. As you move through the 7 blessings, you'll realize that there are moments when the human journey can feel so much like an uphill climb, with both ordinary and extraordinary experiences and circumstances. But hidden in plain sight are a unique and unconventional set of blessings that are available to all of us. And these blessings of life, challenge, conflict, chaos, obstacle, darkness, and death, They're not negative states, nor are they meant to be pushed against. These very human experiences serve as secret passageways of personal empowerment, spiritual growth, and highest potential. And by intimately engaging with these blessed encounters, you invite your mastery, you awaken inherent gifts, and you also create fulfillment, empowerment, and connection that you have longed for. You are part of a magnificent process of accounting that brings about balance while leading you directly into your destiny. As we move through the work that is involved here, you are going to come to a place of surrender. We all do. And I discovered the beauty of being lost in the wind. I've experienced becoming engulfed by the storms. I've known the pulsating heat of the fire as it brought everything to the ground. Pulled into the waves of excitement and emotion and fear, I understand how we become caught within the net of illusion. Life has been a wondrous and holy gateway. And through the blessings, I was led, guided, and stewarded into seeing the cyclical nature of experience. Life is an organic, unfolding wonder where you continuously bud, bloom, and flower. And every moment of experience is for your soulful awareness. A meaningful life arises out of conscious, committed choices, authentic relationships, and anchoring connection. And sometimes that means we have to go back before we go forward. Most often that means we have to sit still, and in the stillness is all the movement. This life was designed for you. Your specific experiences are necessary and important in shaping the world of your creation. You're never alone and have never been. And those who seemingly hurt you created the friction required to light your inner fire. They were who you believed them to be, who you needed them to be, and who they continue to be until freed from your imprisonment. This is your work to do, not theirs. This is from the book, Living the Seven Blessings of Human Experience. Regardless of external circumstances, the experience of freedom has always encompassed an internal state of being. Nothing, no one, and no experience can keep your light from shining because you are lit from within, but that light is hidden beneath so much that you don't even know is there. And if you're willing to go into the depths of that dark womb space, you'll be able to experience it. The only barrier to this light lay within your resentments, grievances, and judgments. You must let go of all the identities, personalities, and attachments before you can receive your inheritance, the conscious embodied connection with spirit. Resentments and grievances are the subtlest of the veils, found between nothingness and illumination. These 3 books, the self-realization series of living, being, and knowing, guide you through that process. And I hope you will let yourself start with living the 7 blessings of human experience. Life will come forth in a certain way. Do not be distracted. Do not turn away. Whatever is yours is of Dharma. Be present to its feelings. There is purpose to all karma. It is not because you're bad or wrong. Listen, be still. Face each moment for what it brings. Let it absorb you, and you will discover the light in everything. Once again, I want to thank you for being with me today. The 3 books in the Self-Realization series are Living the 7 Blessings of Human Experience, that is out now. You can order that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or go to my website. The link is available at the banner at the top of the show page. The second book is Being, the 7 Illusions that Derail Personal Power, Purpose, and Peace. And that releases in May, but is available for pre-order. And the third book is Knowing, the 7 Human Expressions of Grace. And that releases in November. For individuals that are wanting the entire trilogy autographed, you can go to my website at iamsimran.com. Go to the book section and scroll to the bottom. And I'm offering a special where you can order all 3 books and get 3 free gifted CDs, meditation CDs, sent to you as well. The books will be shipped to you upon release, and that way you have the full multidimensional structure. I look forward to celebrating with you. I look forward to your expansion. I appreciate your time and your presence today, and my heart and soul are in these 3 books. So I hope you will hold them, you will love them, and you will allow them to guide you, because through them I am walking beside you through everything, each of the blessings, all of the illusions, and through every grace. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for celebrating my launch of Living the 7 Blessings of Human Experience. I look forward to being again with you next week. Until then, I'm wishing you well. In love, of love, with love, and as love. I am Simran. Good wishes and great love.
Thank you for opening your mind to a new reality, your heart to greater compassion, and your experience of aliveness with 1111 Talk Radio. Join host Simran next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time to step through the gateway of conscious living here on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Remember, you are not on the journey. You are the journey.